Good evening, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order, and we start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you for joining us tonight. Al, if we could start with roll call.
Here. Burdick. Here. Hoffman.
Present.
Minor. Here. Mosier.
Here.
Strahm.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
City Manager Leon.
Here.
Superintendent Denton.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of May 13th, 2019. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Next, we have our proclamation for Aviation Month. All right, so whereas general aviation and Chan-Gurney Municipal Airport play a critical role in the lives of our citizens as well as in the operation of our businesses. Whereas the city of Yankton has a significant interest in the continued vitality of general aviation, aerospace, aircraft manufacturing. I'm having a hard time talking tonight. Educational institutions, aviation organizations, public airports, and public airport operations. And whereas Yankton has a full-service airport serving small and large aircraft, both private and corporate, and aviation businesses such as Crop Dusters LLC, Becker Flying Service Inc., Hoffner Flying, Jake is on our, you moved, there you are, and Dakota Aerials, and two general aviation support groups, which are Yankton Regional Aviation Association and Yankton Experimental Aircraft Chapter 1029, and serving 33 single-engine and 1 twin-engine-based aircraft, and facilitates more than 7,700 general operations annually. And whereas, according to the South Dakota State Aviation System Plan for 2010 through 2030, general and commercial aviation at Chan-Gurney Municipal Airport supports nearly $4.6 million in business sales, including nearly $1 million in personal income, and more than 40 jobs, of which agricultural spraying supports nearly $2.2 million in business sales, including over $328,000 in personal income and more than 10 jobs. Now, therefore, I, Nathan Johnson, Mayor of the City of Yankton, do hereby proclaim June 2019 in the City of Yankton as General Aviation Appreciation Month. We have Jim Cox here from the Aviation Club, Commission? Commission.
Airport Board.
You're the president now,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep, chairman. Not president,
Okay.
chairman.
Tell us what's going on at the airport.
Well, I would just like to thank everybody that's on the commission for all the support and help and enthusiasm that every one of you shares. And it's been a great experience having the airport designated as Airport of the Year again for South Dakota. I think it's something that we just need to really ballyhoo and just keep talking about it all the way through till the next one is designated that way. But like I said, I appreciate it. All the guys on the airport board feel good about what they're doing. And so that's, when you got a lot of support, that makes a big difference. And you folks certainly have done that. And hopefully the air show that's coming up this summer is going to be a big boost for our presence of the airport and where it's at, and everybody will know where it's at and how crowded it was. And so, but thanks again. What should I do with this? Put this out at the airport? Okay.
Jim,
I can handle it.
how many years have you been with the airport board now? It's been a long time.
Oh, gosh, Nathan. I'm trying to think who was mayor when he designated me or appointed.
Moby Dick was a minnow, I think.
Who's that?
Moby Dick was a minnow.
Moby Dick was no, it might have been before that even. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think they even caught him yet. Golly sakes. Oh, shoot.
I hate to put you on the spot. I just know you've
No,
been helping us out for a long time out
Yeah.
there, so we appreciate that.
I've enjoyed every minute of it too, and I thank you for having confidence in me, and but I'm just trying to remember who used to be the undertaker here in town before. Gosh knows, it'll come to me right after I leave. No, he's an electrician, ain't he? Pardon? No, well, Stan, no, it was, he was the competitor of Stan's. Gosh, Costal, there you go. Yep, Costal. He'll kill me for forgetting his name. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, and public, just a few notes here for you this evening. I won't talk a lot about sales tax, but we did have a month, last month, in the black, a positive month. We were up 3.75% in our local sales tax revenue, which is great. For that year, that brings us up into the black 0.45%, almost half a cent. So that's the direction we want to go. We certainly want to be a little higher than that, and I'm hoping as we move into summer, we can see that come to reality. Also, I want to visit with you and look at your expressions here. It's been brought to my attention that when we do proclamations like our airport board proclamation and others, that occasionally the pictures aren't as great as they could be because either we're in the background and we're not in the picture, or it's maybe not centered. So talking about getting a backdrop with the City of Yankton logo that can be put up for pictures so that the folks can get their proclamation, have our logo in the background, and it's visible to the public that we're doing something other than conducting business in the back. So we found a couple of those, but there would be an expense to that. If you're comfortable with us choosing something and purchasing that, we'd also use it if we set up for events and things like that, if we were ever have an educational booth or something of that nature. So, okay, we'll take care of that. I spoke with Dusty Johnson, Representative Dusty Johnson's office this morning in D.C. I had some questions pertaining to some of the things I've been reading in the national media. There is a funding bill of about $19 billion that I don't believe has passed yet. It keeps hitting some roadblocks. But when I've been reading national news, I've not seen South Dakota listed as one of the states there, and that made me a little nervous. So I wanted to get it straight from the horse's mouth, and Dusty Johnson's staff indicated that South Dakota would be included in that funding bill if we are able to get that proclamation or declaration of disaster, and that has been made by Governor Noem. So we would be incorporated in that. We're just waiting yet to hear if that declaration is made by the president. So I'll certainly keep everyone posted on that because we're anxious to start getting our fingers on some of the funding if that comes available to us. So wanted to update you on that as well. Today is our first experiment with the OneDrive. If you have had issues or haven't downloaded OneDrive or can't remember your password, Dwayne is going to stick around after our regular business before our executive session to help you out and work the bugs out if you haven't gotten that, so you can start using OneDrive. The staff that's used it actually likes it better than Dropbox, but it'll take getting a little used to, I'm sure. Also, I wanted to bring to the attention our events coordinator, Brittany LaCroix, asked that I remind everybody about Saturday, June 8th. We're having a Touch a Truck event. We have always done Touch a Truck. We used to do that event in the library parking lot and primarily involved Public Works. It's now been expanded. It's going to be in the Mount Marty College parking lots, which will give us a lot more space. There's going to be a lot more trucks and things to learn and explore. and get to know about. Also not just city equipment, but also some equipment from local businesses as well. So Brittany's putting that together, and that's a free event for the public from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on June 8th. On Saturday, June 15th, in cooperation with the Meridian District Art Project, we are working together with them on a color run. So I know we have at least one commissioner who I see running a lot, like around the park and other places in town. So if you would like to be a part of that, I have a feeling that that's going to involve getting a little messy. So if your kids of all ages could enjoy that, there is a registration fee of $25. Chief Harris is going to give us an update on our vandalism and some of our leads and contacts there, and what we're going to be doing to work hard to try to alleviate those problems that we've already had and sometimes have during the summer in our public spaces. And he'll do that in conjunction with the introduction of our new officers. So I have nothing further for you. If you have questions of me, I'd like to answer those. Otherwise, I'll let you move on to your business.
Are there any questions for the city manager? All right, then we will move on to public appearances, and this is a time when the audience is invited to address the commission on items not on our agenda for this evening. We do have one scheduled public appearance, and that is Chief John Harris.
Honorable Mayor, members of the commission and the public, it's truly a pleasure tonight to be here. First off, I'll introduce our new police officers. With the hiring of these 3 new officers, this will bring us to full strength inside the department, which has been coming for a long time. We really have been shorthanded all year. As you're aware, we have 2 people that are deployed, and then with the 3 vacancies we had, we've been down 25% of our police force in patrol, which really creates some problems when you're trying to do scheduling and things. So it's really exciting to have these 3 people hired, but not only just hiring them, then we have this quality of people. If they'd stand up and come forward, I'll introduce them, and I ask them to say 1 or 2 sentences about themselves so you know something about them. The first person is Cole Larson. He's here, and I'll let him talk about himself in a minute. Thank you, Cole.
Like I said, my name's Cole Larson. I'm excited to be part of the YPD. Before I was hired here, I worked at Colberg Pioneer for 7 years, so I've been part of the community for a long time. Grew up around here. My wife grew up around here, so we enjoy the community a lot. We have 5 children together, and I guess if I have any free time, I enjoy coaching softball and playing softball, so I'm excited to be here, so thank you.
It really is exciting when we get a person that has been that long a ties to our community inside our police department, because they don't have to catch up, kind of like I did when I got here. I had to catch up. Next person, Skylar Russenberger. Skylar?
Yep, my name is Skylar Rosenberger. I went to USD over in Vermillion. That's where I met my wife freshman year. We've been together ever since. Graduated in 2016 with bachelor's in criminal justice and alcohol and addiction studies. Fell in love with the area, kind of stayed here. Before getting hired here, I worked in the Yankton County Jail, so know the area a little bit. But I don't know, I just love the area and love the community and the closeness of the people here. So.
Thank you, Skylar. The last person, but not the least, is Colton Bender, I mean. I knew I was going to do that because Cole and Colton, we've been calling them Bender and Larson because we've mixed up their names 3 or 4 times. One of the things you don't want to call him is Colt, though. I do know that. We've actually got beyond that. So, Colton?
As you all know, I'm Colton Bender. Lived here, born and raised here my whole life. I like to stay pretty active. As Chris knows, I like playing softball quite a bit. So, probably see my face quite a lot around here. Not just a police officer, but I'm also a part-time EMT here in town as well. So, I like to stay busy. I'm also a combat medic with the unit in Vermillion. So I like to not only help the community, but my state and nation as well. So, but yeah, just real quickly, I got 2 people that are here tonight. My fiance Kendra. We're expecting 2 identical twin boys here in September. So, pretty exciting. And then my dad's here as well. So yeah, but it's nice meeting all you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Colton. And that's our 3 new hires, and it really is exciting when you can get 3 people that have those kind of ties to your community, and they're actually really quality people. I also told them they didn't have to stay for the whole meeting because they've got training tomorrow morning first thing, so they'll probably slip out on us here in a minute. I'll also give you a really quick update on some of the vandalism that we've had going on at our water treatment facility. Most recently, this weekend, we had a person steal a skid loader from down there. They actually stole it and drove it out through the fence, and we actually recovered it at 2nd and Broadway. They had done some damage to it, though, by putting some gasoline in a diesel vehicle. So it was sitting down there with markings around it so that they didn't move it until actually they got the fuel drained out of it, so they didn't destroy the engine. That gentleman that stole that, we know who he is. We're in the very final processes of getting a warrant for his arrest. We've chased him a couple times this weekend as he ran across the bridge into Nebraska. But once we have the warrant, it'll be a felony warrant, and we'll be able to go ahead and pursue him into Nebraska if he runs from us again. So we'll be able to get him. We know who he is. It's just a matter of time before we actually put that case to rest. The bigger thing, though, is the internal damage that was done, the vandalisms that created some real problems for the water treatment facility. We have some solid suspects in that case. I can't go into a lot of detail. We are interviewing one, and I do expect us to close that fairly quickly. And it appears that they may be juveniles. So if you have any private questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to, but not in a public setting because we still are investigating those things.
And Chief, I think we can let the commission and public know that we are looking into options for cameras that might be that might become sooner rather than later, and they may be a situation where they're cameras that can be transported, or they might be cameras that are permanently placed, and we also don't want to talk too much about that in that we don't want to tell people necessarily where they're located, but we are looking into that as well. We don't necessarily post or advertise all our security measures either, so.
Yeah, there's 2 things we're looking at doing is we're looking at putting those cameras up, some in permanent locations and some in mobile locations. We're not having to purchase the first round of those because we belong to an organization in the Midwest that actually loans that expensive equipment out to us, and we have a request in for that, and it should be here within a few days, and we'll get that installed. But in addition, we're looking at probably purchasing some permanent stuff for us at the city. One of the things it does is tells us who's moving and what's going on in the downtown area. We do have a lot of businesses that have them, and we encourage them to have them, and they always cooperate with us in the downtown area when we have problems. So the cameras will be a really good tool for us, and we should have some of those additional cameras up and going in a few days. Any questions for me on the new hires or the vandalisms? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for that update, Chief, and welcome to our new recruits. We look forward to your service to the community. We know you'll do a great job. With that, is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the commission about something not on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing no movement, we will move on to the consent agenda, and it is rather lengthy this evening. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 19-120 regarding approval of the new volunteer firefighters per the workers' compensation and SD South Dakota codified law requirements. And we are welcoming Joshua Wagner, Michael Kukta, and Brandon Kneifel to the fire department. Number 2, establish June 10th as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events on sale liquor license for June 18th, 2019 from the Chamber of Commerce, and that is for the Ag Gala at the 4-H Ice Arena. Number 3 is establish June 10th, 2019 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events malt beverage on sale retailer's license for July 1st, 2019 from the Center at 900 Whiting Drive. Number 4 is consideration of memorandum 19-113, recommending approval of the application from the Yankton Baseball Association to hold a dance on May 31st, 2019 at the Riverside Park Baseball Diamond. Number 5, establish June 10th, 2019 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events malt beverage on-sale retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for June 15th, 2019 from the Center. Number 6 is established June 10th, 2019 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events malt beverage on-sale retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for September 21st, 2019 from the Center. Number 7 is consideration of memorandum 19-124, recommending approval of the application from the Yankton Chamber and Visitor Center for a transient merchant license for May 31st through June 31st, 2019. And number 8 is consideration of memorandum 19-126, recommending approval of the application from the Meridian District for a transient merchant license for May 31st through June 31st, 2019. What is your pleasure?
I'll move the consent items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on the consent agenda? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission about something on the consent agenda? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Thank you. Moving on to old business. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 19-115 regarding the request for a special malt beverage on-sale retailer's license and a special on-sale wine retailer's license for July 20th, 2019 from Yankton Area Arts. And that will be at the Meridian Bridge or a rain date at the City Hall Auditorium. What is your pleasure?
I'll move the memorandum. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Aye.
Moser.
Aye.
Toronto. Aye. Weber.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 2 under old business is consideration of memorandum 19-116 regarding the request for a new retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota Farm wine license for July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019 from Angeles La Mexicana, LLC, doing business as Angeles La Mexicana at 401 Pequot Street. What is your pleasure?
Are the years wrong in this? Because otherwise it expires at the end of this month. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct, and then they'll all renew together. So this one will be in the renewals as well. So we have to
Okay,
issue
thank you for
the-
clarifying. I was looking at that and thought, we're off.
Is there any more commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Maria, I see you out there. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your plans? If you could step to the podium and introduce yourself.
Well, like as you all know, we run El Tapatio Mexican restaurant in town. We've been around for about 12 years now. We're planning to offer to the community a full-service Mexican store with a meat and deli department, as long as with some frozen goods and all the Mexican and Cuban and all the Hispanic market for the area, as well as offering services for like Western Union and money transfers in the store. So, and we'll also have a convenient for soft drinks, beer, wine, all kinds of good stuff. That's about it.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome. Thank
I'm
you.
a big fan of your restaurant. I'm looking forward to this new addition to town.
Yeah, it'll bring a lot for the visitors who plan to do outdoor camping and grilling. We'll offer like meats and chicken, pork, anything to grill. We'll be ready to pretty much prepare and go out and enjoy at the lake.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I don't believe we have a motion yet.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more commission discussion? Roll call.
Aye.
Minor.
Aye.
Moser.
Aye.
Toronto. Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Number 3 under old business is consideration of memorandum 19-117 regarding the request for a new retail on-off sale wine and cider license for January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2019 from Angeles La Mexicana LLC at 401 Pequot Street. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item?
I was just curious if we learned any more about what the wine and cider license means. Is it just a new title?
I'm still playing phone tag with the gal up at the state, but she did leave me a voicemail, and based on the initial voicemail, it sounds like what was happening was this new drink that's considered the cider was a lot higher in alcohol content than beer, and close to wine, and the state was concerned about how that was not regulated at the time. So they made a whole new chapter for cider drinks and lumped it in with wine. And again, I'm basing this on the little bit of voicemail, but we've played phone tag and haven't talked to each other face to face yet. So that's what I can gather is what it's, or how it came about.
Thank you.
Any more commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? All right, roll call.
Minor,
Aye.
Moser,
Aye.
Schramm,
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Sarda,
Aye.
Ferdig,
Aye.
Hoffner,
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye, motion passes. Number 4, under old business, is consideration of memorandum 19-118 regarding the request for a special events retail on-sale malt beverage and special retail on-sale wine dealer's license for June 10th through 12th, 2019 from Mount Marty College. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Moser,
Aye.
Schramm,
Aye.
Weber, Sarda,
Aye.
Ferdig,
Aye.
Hoffner,
Aye.
Minor,
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye, motion passes. Number 5 under old business is a public hearing for renewal of malt beverage licenses, and that's consideration of memorandum 19-119. And this is for the 2019 through 20 licensing period. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Chief Ferris, I would ask, I know there's a note in the memorandum that says you've reviewed this list and there are no concerns about any of the people applying. Can you just reiterate that is?
Yeah, Honorable Mayor
correct?
and members of the commission, when we have a request like this come through, it's sent over by finance to us for a review, and we look at it, and if we find something, we'll make a note of that. In all these cases, we've not found anything, so we mark approved as far as we're concerned.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is there any other commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to new business. Number 1 is consideration of memorandum 19-121 regarding resolution 19-23, which is a plat of 2512 and 2514 Dorian Drive in Westbrook Estates. Johansson Contracting, Inc. is the owner. What is your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 2 under new business is consideration of memorandum 19-122 regarding resolution 19-24, which is a plat of 200 and 202 Violet Drive in the Crestview Homes subdivision. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Dave, this is the ETJ, correct? Out west of town.
It's not in the zoning extraterritorial jurisdiction. It's what's called the 3-mile platting jurisdiction. So it's a different statute under state law that we have a certain level of authority for maintaining the extension of our street grid. But we don't have zoning authority here.
It's good to hear your voice. We couldn't just let you sit there. Any other commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 3 under new business is consideration of memorandum 19-123 regarding a bid award for the cold applied plastic pavement marking installation project. And that bid is in the amount of $49,595.60 to Dakota Traffic Services LLC. What is your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item?
Just probably a point of reference, I just want to thank the staff and, of course, the leadership of pointing this out, and especially for the new commissioners, how we've asked the question for many years. Maybe it's because this Charlie seat's vibrating when it comes to money, but seriously, folks, I think it's important to point out that how well these are explained, because the questions kept coming up. Is this a good deal? How does it compare to last year? How does it compare to our budget? So I think those answers, I'd like to keep that process going, and I think it's very helpful, especially new commissioners, to see that how fair of a deal we're getting. Thank you.
So in the memo, it says this will be focused on 8th Street between Broadway and Summit Street. Is that correct? Or is that the focus area, and then we'll be doing some other areas as needed?
Correct.
So just the 8th Street?
I don't have a list of the
Oh.
streets, but that's the priority.
Got it. All right. Any other commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 4 under new business is introduction of the 2018 assessment roll, and that is for noxious vegetation and tree trimming. This is consideration of memorandum 19-125 and resolution 19-25 recommending that June 24th, 2019 be established as the date for a public hearing on the special assessment roll for noxious vegetation and tree trimming. What is your pleasure?
Introduce.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion on this item? All right, moving on. Number 5 under new business is consideration of memorandum 19-128 recommending approval of the mayor's appointments to various city advisory boards and commissions. What is your pleasure?
Move the memorandum.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion? I do have one note. Commissioner Benson mentioned she was going to talk to you about the United Way.
Okay.
And that she'd be willing to serve on that since she's already going. She didn't have it. Okay. Well, we'll just leave it as is. Okay. Any further commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And with there being no further business on tonight's agenda, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss contractual litigation and personnel matters under South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.
And Dwayne will stick around if you would like him to work with you on your iPad.